So now you're about to hear the other side of the story. You're about to hear the other half of a very, very successful agency. I don't know if you guys remember, but the first ever student interview I did was actually on the main channel when I was still uploading them on there. But the first ever student interview I did was with John. Now, John and Mia have been together as partners for 10 years now at this point, and they're also business partners. They run their agency together, and they're doing well over 6 figures a year profit. And yeah, people love that first interview. John's core competences when it comes to sales, etc., etc. Now, this time we got Mia on, and Mia is incredibly well spoken, and I know they've gone through some changes in the past 2 months or so with their agency that she's going to talk about right now. Really about just moving away from the operational side of things, moving away from being handcuffed by service delivery, and making more from their agency while working less. And that I almost want to punch myself when I say that, because it sounds so like clickbaity, but it's like, no, you put systems in place, and that's an actual reality. So yeah, with no further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and roll the student interview.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another student interview. I'm very excited for this one. This is the first time this has happened, which is we are getting to see the other half of an agency. So I don't know if you guys recall, we did an interview with John. It was our first ever student interview. And now we're here joined with the business partner as well as the girlfriend, Mia. She is the brains behind the operation. She's the one in the background who is, from what I understand, that's your role is to deliver that results for the clients, and you guys together make an incredible team that you guys are. So you just want to share a little bit about yourself first?
Yeah, definitely. So first of all, I kind of just want to express gratitude to everyone watching this interview and really, following along with these student success stories. I remember watching these interviews at home and I was like, I need to get on this and really share my story. So for those of you who don't know, my name's Mia, John's girlfriend, who has been on this, and really my journey for entrepreneurship started in 2016, and it was a lot of trial and error to really get to where I am today. But I truly believe that if you never give up on your vision, you never give up on your purpose, you will find a way, and things will fall into place when the right time is meant to be. That's what I truly believe, So yeah, that's a little bit about myself, and I'm excited to get into this.
Amazing. Good stuff. Well, one thing that we were just speaking about briefly off camera was the fact that you guys managed to get to 15K a month, but you said we got to 15K a month with really no systems. So do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, of course. So I started my agency back in February last year. So February to April, we approached local businesses. We went to 10 meetings. We all got no's. So after April, we thought, okay, well, we need to change our approach. And that's where we started to go for online influencers. And we kind of fell into the fitness niche. So people that had large followings online, but they didn't really know how to monetize their info products, and they didn't run ads. So from April, we signed our first client. And then in August, we hit 10K, and in September, we hit 15K. Now, us being naive at the time, we offered everything. Honestly, funnel build, website creation, emails, ads, everything. Our theory was the more service we add, the more value it's going to be. So yes, we hit 15K, but we were so burnt out. We had no systems in place. We were working all day, every day. So really in December, I really thought to myself, well, this isn't what an agency should be, okay? So I read a book with the E-Myth, which was great. And it really talks about the systems that you should have in your business. And you should have a vision for your agency at the start, and then kind of come back into the present time and make decisions based on that vision. So I think a lot of the time when you start an agency, or you're really desperate to get money and make something work, you make a lot of decisions based on generating money without really thinking about the time, the effort, and the energy. So yeah, we hit 15K, but I'm telling you, for the work we've done, it was nowhere near as much as really we should have got paid, because we were doing everything. So after December, I really took a step back. I looked at my agency, where it was going. I went through all of your content again, and something clicked. And I really said to myself and John, I was like, John, we need to have a system in place. Like, I'm seeing people like Iman making all this money and working so little time in the agency. And I felt like I wasn't getting paid for the effort that I was putting in. You know, I felt like I was working so hard, and I'm telling you, harder than anyone I knew. But I really wasn't getting paid for that much effort. So I scaled back. I actually gave notice to my clients because they weren't the right people. You know, they didn't share the same values as us. They didn't share the same ethics, and they didn't fit my vision of who I saw my agency, what it was looking like. So I gave notice to my clients, and I really started fresh. And I thought, this time I'm going to make an agency. I'm going to work really little hours and really build systems in place. So that's what I've done. We brought it back up to 10K, which was great. But this time, I don't feel so overworked and burnt out, because a lot of the time, if you're doing everything, you're going to get burnt out really quick. And I think that's a reason why a lot of agency owners quit, because they don't start the agency off the right way in the beginning.
So what are some systems and processes that you implemented?
So right now I'm looking for an appointment sitter. So that is going to be fantastic. But even with the onboarding system, so before I was manually onboarding everyone, I was filming separate videos telling them how to get started with Facebook, with the ads manager. I was sending out contracts on its own. The communicating was all over the place. I was communicating, going back and forth with them every day. So communicating was a system I put in place. The onboarding, that was the system. And also I hired actually a media buyer, because I was doing all of the work. And I really realized, you know, if I wanted to get the agency to where I wanted to, I realized that there were people that knew more about Facebook ads than myself, but also I could remove myself from that aspect. So that has been great, the media buyer.
So now that you've removed yourself from that aspect, as you said, what's your main role? What's your day-to-day look like?
So the day-to-day role, still I'm actually filming Loom videos for my clients. So that is where the bulk of my task is right now. The most of my time is I film all Loom videos. That's how I outreach people. I'm still very much the face of the brand, which I still want to be, because I believe people are going to join the agency for my personality. But really, that's what's taken up a lot of time. It's very inefficient, okay? I'm filming videos. By the time I email them off, it takes up a lot of my time. So that's one thing that I really want to get situated in place to really remove myself. And then do the things that matter, like creating content and things that are going to grow the agency. Because right now, what I'm doing is incremental changes, not going to massively grow, I believe.
So I love where you're at as an agency owner, because it's like you're not making decisions from a place of scarcity. You're not making decisions from a place of like, oh, how can I maximize, not even maximize profits, but how can I maximize revenue, but also drive myself nuts? I see this again and again, where agency owners will scale and then they'll feel as though they have golden handcuffs, because it's like you're in a great position, but you feel so trapped. Exactly. And you know, a lot of times you have to take a couple steps back. So my question to you is, by the end of the year, what does your dream agency look like in terms of how much you're making, what sort of clients you're working with, the sort of average retainer, what services you're offering, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So my end goal at the end of the year is I really want to bring my agency to 50K a month online. That's my monthly revenue, where I want it to be. So currently I'm charging around 2.5 per month plus commission. But I watched one of your videos in the recent, the module that was in Agency Incubator, and you're charging your clients $4,000 to $12,000 a month. Okay, so that is my goal. Like, if you're doing it, so can we. So I really want to tap into, you know, getting a high-paying clients on board, because here's the thing, okay? I mean, it doesn't make a difference with the workload. In fact, the more they pay, the better the client they are. So I had clients that were paying me really small amounts, and they wanted to get everything out of me. You know, they wanted to get the most out of their money. So really, where I see at the end of the year is scaling to 50K a month, bring on an additional media buyer if needed. And really, I want clients that just share my values and ethics. You know, this is who I'm really going for in the future. I want to have people that respect my time, who have the same ethics as me, and are really easy to work with, because the agency is such a good model, especially once you get an incredible media buyer on board. It is so easy and you have so much time to do the things you want to do, which is why you started the agency. But I think a lot of people make decisions based on scarcity and based on money, and they don't really value their time. That's why a lot of people get burnt out really, really easily.
So as a agency owner, it's funny, I was speaking to, yesterday I was doing a student interview with a guy called Michael Gardner. He's out in Thailand at the moment. And I mean, this dude, like there's people like him, there's people like Evan who genuinely are just that's it, I've made it. Like I'm making anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 a month profit, and I just don't do shit. Like, you know, they work a couple hours a day on the agency, but they have a media buyer, they maintain, I even asked Michael, I'm like, Michael, would you even know what to do? If you made $30,000, $40,000 a month, would you even know what to do with that money? And he's like, no, like, cause he lives off $1,500 a month. He travels the world and, you know, just lives, gets a lot of bang for his buck. So my question to you is, for your agency, because also this is the other thing that I think a lot of people don't understand is like my agency, like I see myself running in 20, 30 years. Cause it's just that, like, it's that machine that I've dialed in and I've tuned in so well. And it's just like it's my stable thing. It's my cash cow. It's my stable thing. It's the thing that gives me the balls to, you know, build schools in Nepal and focus a lot of my time and effort on GrowYourAgency.com, because that thing saps just an obnoxious amount of effort and time. And I mean, the amount of expenses, you know, that comes with having 5 full-time team members, another 5 contractors, service providers, this, that, spending 25 grand on Grey Agency parties, building schools. It's pretty stressful, but you know, my agency is it's the thing that gives me the confidence to do that, because I know that's like my super unsexy, super uncool, but it's just my steady horse. So my question for you is like, what do you see from your agency? Is it something that you see yourself doing for the next 2-3 years and then pivoting? Do you see it as a 10-20 year play? Because as I said, I speak to agency owners who, you know, they just want to do it for a couple more years and then go invest all their liquid cash into property. For some people like myself, it's a 20-30 year thing.
That's a really good question. I think it's really important to know your vision when you start an agency and any business, in fact. You know, what are you really doing this for? And I think that's a lot of a reason why people give up, because they don't know their true meaning and why they're doing that. To answer your question, I always saw the agency as a cash machine. Now, the thing with myself, I want to make a lot of money, but I don't really want to be the face of things, and I don't want to have big Instagram and social media. I really don't want people to really know too much about me. So I believe, yes, I will have the agency for a few years, definitely. But what I'm really interested in is learning about real estate and how to make money work for me. So for me, my vision was always to get the agency to a certain level, to have a certain amount of profit, to then reinvest it into something else and to really make my money work for me. So I'm reading a really cool book called Rich Dad Poor Dad for the 3rd time. And he talks about the importance of your money working for you. So, you know, yes, we've got money coming in, but is the money sitting there? And really, how much money is your money making you? So that's what I'm interested in, getting this agency to a certain level and just reinvesting that money and seeing my money multiply. That's what I see my vision and my future.
No, and now especially is a great time, just because like there are a lot of businesses out there, as I said, who have ridiculous overheads, and in a good market, they look like they're on paper winning, when in fact they might potentially have investors. They might have taken lines of credit. You see a lot of, like, I wish more people knew about like what goes on behind the curtains, because at a lot of these businesses that they think are making a lot of money, well, it's like, no, your revenues are high, your take home is low, or if you're the founder, you've scaled your business up, but the business is still operating at a loss. So you go to the bank and you're like, look, I have a valuable business if I was to sell it, and they give you a line of credit. And that's how some of these founders and owners are driving around in Rolls Royces.
Yeah.
They couldn't afford it themselves. It's just their bank is giving them a line of credit. So, that's the thing with, that's the beautiful thing with having an agency is you can take that money and then you can siphon it off into investments. And over the next 6 to 24 months, there's going to be a lot of opportunity in the real estate market. And I mean, there is already a lot of opportunity in the stock market. So yeah, I love the fact that you know what your agency is there for, because at the end of the day, like it's very similar to me. Like Grow Your Agency to me is not a business that works for me. Like GrowYourAgency.com, I am my education company's little bitch. Like, but I say it and I know it wholeheartedly. Like honestly, like Kieran and I talk about all the time. Like the education company nearly kills me. The operational complexity of it, the stress that comes from it. But whereas with my agency, that's my little bitch. Like my agency works for me. It's as I said, just a steady. It's just a mule, to be honest.
It's a great business model. It truly is. And I watched one of your modules in Agency Incubator when you said, never go above 30% in what you're paying contractors. So if I can stick to that 30% profit, I'm going to be winning. Likewise, all of your students, it's such a good either vehicle or a business model as a whole. And it's so cash friendly. It's incredible. And businesses always needs marketing. That's the great thing with having an agency. You're never going to run out of opportunities.
Exactly. And so my next question to you is: you said that you have a right now you're charging a fee plus a performance kickback. Right now, actually, in like 2 hours, I have a call with a potential client, a guy called Ryan White, and I think that's going to be the first client that I ever do. We're going to do performance only. So in 2018, it was all just retainer. 2019, especially towards the end, we started taking on some clients for 2,500 pound base, and then making 70-80% of our money. Well, I guess it depends which client, but 50, 60, 70, 80% of our money from the performance kickback. Now this year, I've even been talking to my team and we're thinking like, fuck, like potential, like we know we have such ridiculous results for our clients. And I know that you guys are very good at what you do as an agency and you've gotten incredible results for your clients. So, I was even talking to the team and I'm like, I'm considering even this year, just getting clients and just doing purely performance. The reason that I decided not to, with this one client, I'm trialing it out. So as I said, I've got the sales call in 2 hours, but my only apprehension for it was I still want them to have some skin in the game. So just for me, like 2,500 pounds a month it's $3,200 a month. It's like for the clients that we're working with, it's not serious money, but it's just some skin in the game.
Yeah, I agree, because it's funny, man, because all my previous clients last year was pure commission basis, because at that time I didn't have a lot of results under my belt. So it was a kind of a win-win. And it was just pure commission. Now, to be honest with you, unless they're spending a lot of money in ads, I would never go back to it. Especially in the first 3 months, things are a bit unpredictable. You really don't know how the market is going to respond to their products, their offers. And, as a result, I think, we got really overworked and underpaid, especially in month one. Sometimes we weren't seeing much money. So now I do the service fee like of 2 or 2.5 to cover me. I know that I'm getting paid for the efforts that I'm putting in, and anything over is a bonus. So I think commission is such a good, it depends. Unless they're putting a lot of money into ads, I would be quite apprehensive on just doing that myself from my experience.
Okay. So what sort of clients are you guys working with? And are you guys currently working with your dream client, or is there a little bit of way to go to get to that ideal perfect client you want to be working with?
So previously, like I said, it was all fitness info product niches. As of January, we thought, okay, let's go into the e-commerce niche because the returning customer value is so high, they're always going to have customers coming back. So we've kind of dialed in on fashion specifically, fashion websites. And to be completely honest with you, I'm loving the clients that we're working with at the moment. I think there's so much potential for e-commerce businesses from the average order value, but most importantly, the retention of your customers. So when you're working with info product niches, you always have to focus on new customers coming back, and you have no returning customers, which is a big deal for any business. I think the lifeblood of any business is how many customers do you not only keep, but how many are going to come back to you. So I think the e-com niche is, I'm happy with that niche. I'm happy with where it's going. And I think I want to start to dial in and refine it even more, and to see if I can refine the fashion niche more so.
Yeah. And I mean, look, to be honest, if you come from a background of info product businesses and you go to e-commerce, like that's the thing that I have to like keep telling people. It's like that Iman does info product, like, 80% of our clients are info product, 20% are e-commerce. Like, Iman does info product. That must be what to do. I'm like, yes, okay, but that's after like I'm coming up to my fourth anniversary of having an agency. Like I run a very successful info product business myself. Like in terms of like the difficulty of local businesses is actually like here. E-commerce is like here, and info product is like here. So especially for you guys coming from an info product background, you guys, props to you. You literally went straight to the deep end. But to scale back to working with e-commerce, it's something we've talked about as well as an agency. Towards the end of last year, we're like, if we look back, to be honest, our e-commerce clients have paid very well. So have our info product clients, but like they've paid very well, and it's just been pretty easy in comparison to an info product business. So yeah, I think you guys are definitely on the right.
I think the good thing though about the info product business is their overheads are so low. So I do believe a lot of our clients, they maybe were the wrong clients. And it's funny because you look at people that have a lot of subscribers on YouTube and Instagram, and you think they're making a lot of money. I'm telling you, they don't. They do really well in creating content, and they do well branding themselves, but in the business aspect, I found it really tricky working with those people, and I felt like I had to coach them on business as a whole. So info products can be good. If you've got a lot of products and they're quite high end, it can be good because the overheads are very low.
So my next question, and I said this from day one of like student interviews, and like people love the student interviews. And I think one of the main reasons is because from like day one, it was never like, so like, tell me about how great Agency Incubator is, and tell me how great, like for me, like this has always been about like, let me hear about an agency owner and a person's unique story. So I have a question for you. What is one thing that, like there's quite a few things I'm very firm on, and I have a strong belief as an agency owner that things should be a certain way. What is one thing that I believe in that you just vehemently disagree with? Like, fuck that. We do it this way instead.
Well, that's a very good question, actually, because a lot of your advice that you give, and it's funny because at the beginning when I was watching your course, I probably did disagree with a lot of things. I know this is how it should be done, but I went through things and I made mistakes for myself and realized, well, yeah, actually Iman is right with the systems, and yeah, he is right with charging this much for contractors. So that is a good question. To be honest, Iman, I really look up to you and inspire your not only work ethic, but your view on business, and your mindset is different to anyone. And I'm not exaggerating, but the way you view business and a system as a whole, I can't disagree with your advice. I really can't, because you are where a lot of people want to be. And, you are an inspiration to, if you look at everyone that came to the party in London, they were all there for you. And all the advice you gave that changed their life. So to really, and maybe not to answer your question, but there is actually nothing that I disagree with. And I think if people follow your advice, or maybe take it with a grain of salt, they're gonna be as successful as you are. So
I think you're right there. I think you're definitely right there. That like there are things that I know works, but then again, I also talked to, as I said, like someone like Michael Gardner, who was just the last student interview I did, and the dude charges $750 per month for his clients. He's making $8,000 to $12,000 a month. He does like 4 different services, and like reach the same destination applied like 50% of the infrastructure that I use, and then the other 50% he got creative and he like, or another perfect example is like, I mean, there's just so many that are coming to mind. Even just like Joshua Sparks, like his commission only, the way that he did commission only. Once again, it's not something I particularly agree with, especially when you're first starting. As I said, I'm coming up to my 4th year, and I'm only just dancing with the idea of doing commission only.
You know what? Actually, I have thought of something.
There we go.
I would say, and I really followed your advice at the beginning of never to give people free trials. And I was so adamant on that. I was like, John, we're not giving anything for free. Like, this is our service. I'm going in. And I think maybe at the beginning, if I did give people a free trial, it could have been a good entry point as a beginner on how to land your first client, because I think I was quite naive. I didn't really have a lot of results. So I was really adamant, I'm never giving anything for free. But maybe that could have helped me start and progress a lot quicker. So that's one thing.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I'm like, but maybe it was the fact that you were so adamant on a free trial that helped you land those clients, because they saw that this isn't the type of person that would give a free trial. So I don't know. There's a lot of ways you can play devil's advocate.
There is.
But I'm literally looking in the corner of my eye at facing our neighbor. There's this this super rich banker who lives opposite. Super cool dude. But he, for some reason, somewhere around 3:30 every day, he sets up his DJ set. And like, have you seen like Italy, like with the whole quarantine thing, like how they do like they play like piano and stuff? And
I know, in the street.
Yeah, we've got our little Cape Town version of that. So like, I'm living in like this ridiculously like rich like residential area. So this guy sets up his DJ stand every day and he just DJs for like 30 minutes. So with an ounce of caution that he's about to get going any minute now, I just want to say, first of all, it's amazing, as I said, just to see the brains behind the operation. The real person who
and John may think differently, but we know the real deal.
The truth is out now. All right, amazing. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day.
Thank you for your time, Iman. It's been great.